What is up, guys? It's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today, I want to talk about Dragon Ball misconceptions. This is going to be my new series that I'm going to create. I want to talk about some stuff that a lot of the Dragon Ball fans get wrong or have incorrect information about. Whether they're regular fans or even hardcore fans, there's a lot of stuff that people just forget or just don't remember or don't understand. And I'm here to explain that. Now, first, let's talk about the androids. Android 17, 18, and 16 in particular. Now, they're not, Android 17 and 18, they're not actually androids, they're cyborgs. The only reason they're called androids is because of the English dub. In the original Japanese version and in the manga, they are considered as cyborgs, which that's what they actually are. I've seen people say that they're androids and are they pre-programmed to this? And yes, they do have a program put into them, and they are made out of metal parts and mechanical parts, but they are not androids or robots. They are still humans with cybernetic enhancements in them. And I feel like this is a misconception that's been shown a lot. I get it. It was because it's stated androids every time, but in the original Japanese version and in the manga, they're considered as cyborgs, and they are because they were regular humans called Lapis and Lazuli, which we learned later on, and Dr. Zoro basically kidnapped these two, experimented on them, put robotic enhancement in them, and then try to program them to being more like machine-like. And that's why they're so messed up. So no, they are not complete robots. They are humans that have robotic enhancements in them. Whereas Android 16, he's an actual 100% true android. Him and 19 are the only androids, or I think it was 20, I forgot which one it was. But Dr. Gero and the other ones are cyborgs. Dr. Gero is less of a cyborg. I guess you can put him more as an android, but he does have a cyborg part, the fact that he has his human brain inside the android body. So he went through the cyborg process a little different, whereas 18 and 17, they're just humans with those parts. So no, they are not robots, they are not androids, they are cyborgs. Also, another thing a lot of people get wrong about their energy is people think that these guys actually use ki. They do not. And the reason why I say they do not use ki is if they did have ki in them, then Goku, Vegeta, the rest of them would have been able to sense Android 17 and 18. But the reason they can't is because they do not have ki. Ki's in living organisms, and I know they're still like human, they're cyborgs, but the way they get their power is not from the human body. They get it from the robotic enhancements. So basically, they're getting the power from that. And why is this important? Basically, this shows that these characters do not use ki, but a natural energy source that has been given to them by Dr. Gero while he experimented on them. And all the other androids have their own things. Like Android 19 and 20, they do have their own energy and natural energy processing unit, but the way that it works is they have the circle dot thingies on their hands to absorb energy. So they can absorb ki, but they don't use that as ki for their body. So I think they have normally they have their own energy supply, but it's still limited. So to increase the energy supply and replenish it is by absorbing energy attacks or just absorbing energy directly from a person by making contact. So whenever they absorb the ki from a person, they're absorbing their energy and converting it into natural energy. And when I mean natural energy, I mean electrical energy, nuclear power, those type of stuff. I don't mean ki and the metaphysical power that we see in Dragon Ball. So whenever you see these guys firing attacks, these energy attacks are not ki attacks. They are basically, you would consider just a regular energy, like I guess you could say radiation or electricity. So like when you see, I think when you play Xenoverse 1 and 2, Android 17 and 18, they do an electric move that knocks everything out. That move is not using ki, it is using actual electricity, and the barrier they form around their body, that is also natural energy. So the androids use natural energy, they don't use ki. That's why they cannot be detected, and each one has different ones. The Android 19 and 20 models, they absorb ki and they convert it into regular energy, whereas 17, 18, and 16, they are infinite energy models, which they have somehow Dr. Zoro was smart enough to create this energy source that can replenish itself infinitely, so they have infinite stamina through that respect. So by using this not only made them stronger, but also made them replenish their energy continuously. I don't know how he developed this, because in real world, if we were to have an energy source that continuously supplies energy, natural energy, we would be using that would make millions of dollars, and it will change the world for better. So this energy source allows them to keep on coming back, but also the attacks that they would be using wouldn't be using ki, but regular energy. So let's say they fire an energy blast, such as a laser from their eyes. They wouldn't be firing ki lasers, but an actual laser. So if the characters are dodging their attacks, they're actually dodging lasers, so light photons, so they'll be moving faster than light if they're dodging it. And there's even when you play the games, one of the moves that they use is called photon cannon, and it is using actual photons. They're not using ki, so they're one of the few characters that don't use ki. They're using directly, just pure energy, and I guess that can also work very well against the Z fighters. Another thing I want to talk about is Frieza destroying the planet. People say that Frieza in his base form destroyed it within like 1% of power. He did it with one finger and all this other stuff. Let me go through some of them. First of all, we don't know how much percentage of power he used. He obviously wasn't using too much when he destroyed Planet Vegeta, but we don't know if it's 1%. Second of all, it doesn't matter how many fingers he's using. He can use 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. It doesn't increase or multiply the power by the amount of fingers you're using. I feel like that's a dumb statement to make. Also, I want people to take in consideration the technique that he used compared to the last one, because there's one thing that people need to understand is different techniques have different levels of power. The Kamehameha's power is far less than that of the Tri-Beam Cannon. It was even stated by Master Roshi. He said the Kamehameha compared to the Tri-Beam Cannon is like dog piss compared to it. I was like, damn, so it's that much more powerful. And it's because he gives up his life energy every time he uses it, which shortens his life and could kill him if he uses it too much. So it has far more higher attack power than that of the Kamehameha. And I feel the same way about the technique that Frieza was using, because the technique he was using on planet Namek was the Death Ball, whereas the one he was using on, on Planet Vegeta was the Supernova attack. And they never state this, but I definitely think that the Supernova attack has a higher yielding destructive power than the Death Ball, and I think it's a far more special case. I think of the Death Ball as the the Supernova as the Tri-Beam Cannon, and the Death Ball as the Kamehameha. They're very powerful techniques, but one far exceeds the user's ability, whereas the other one is only determined based off of how much the user's energy is being put into it. So for like the Kamehameha, the amount of power it has, it depends on how powerful the character is. So the amount of power they put into it, that's how powerful it is. Whereas the Tri-Beam Cannon, it does depend on that too, but the amount of destructive power can far exceed that of the user. Every energy attack exceeds the regular power of the user because it condenses the power, but specific attacks, you do it far higher. So the Tri-Beam Cannon is basically, it yields an amount of power that far exceeds anything that Tien could do. I bet if Goku does it, he would be able to take out opponents that are at least 10 times stronger than him. And I don't know why he doesn't do it, because I feel like it's a very useful technique, especially if you're in a dangerous situation, you're gonna die anyway. Why not go the extra mile? So that's what I feel about that. And I feel the same about Supernova. I think the Supernova is an attack that far exceeds Frieza's full power, whereas the Death Ball is really according to how much power he puts into it. So using those two scenes is different. That's why he's able to destroy a planet with 10 times Earth's gravity, which would be harder than just destroying a planet like Earth size. So it would either be more dense or bigger. So, and depending on that, the amount of power it would take will be even higher. So him destroying the fact that he destroyed only the core of Planet Namek, and he was able to completely obliterate in one shot Planet Vegeta, I think it really depends on the attack that he was using. I think Supernova is far stronger than that, and I think Supernova surpasses not only his first form, but even his final form. I think depending on no matter what form he uses it, if he uses Supernova, it has the highest amount of power, like throughout each form. So if he's using first, second, third, fourth form, it doesn't matter. It has the same amount of power, but it has such amount of power that it far exceeds anything he can do in his final form. And that's why he was able to destroy that planet. And that directly goes against people saying that first form Frieza is large star level. I think final form Frieza is large star level, but to say first form Frieza is large star level, I don't agree. Because let's say if you use the Death Ball, if you use the Death Ball and use full power in it, he wouldn't be able to destroy Planet Vegeta. Just like how he used it in Namek. Yeah, he held back, but still, Frieza holding back on Planet Namek would have more power than Frieza going all out in his first form there. Because Frieza was holding back in that one too. So I think it really depends on the techniques. And I can make a more in-depth video talking about different techniques and abilities that they have. Another thing I want to talk about is psychic power, because I feel like a lot of people think that the Dragon Ball characters are only strong physically and forget that they have psychic abilities, and forget that they get this wrong quite a bit. They assume that the Dragon Ball characters can only handle high amounts of physical damage, not mental damage. Basically meaning that they can fight a character who is physically strong, like can punch really hard or like has very destructive power, but they cannot fight somebody with psychic abilities because they can be mind can be destroyed. And there's quite a bit of a debate with Itachi if he could beat the Dragon Ball characters like Goku, because he has the Tsukuyomi and all these other abilities where he can directly attack the mind. It doesn't need the chakra networks. So basically he's using a psychic attack and creating illusion and attacking them in their mind. And people usually argue that the Dragon Ball characters can't defend against that, but they can. Dragon Ball characters, when they're training, they're not just training their physical body, they're training their mind and their spirit. So they're getting all this stuff stronger, and it builds defense. If they can use these psychic attacks, wouldn't it make sense that they would have also psychic protection against psychic attacks? I mean, we saw with Vegeta when he broke out of Babdi's control. A lot of people say, well, oh, it was his pride, but that makes no sense. That pride is just a word and a feeling, and that feeling is his will, and his will comes from his mind. So the fact that he was able to break through it showed that he had a lot of strength in his mind. Even the Demon King was taken over by it. So yeah, psychological strength is also is used in this, because these characters, they have a high physical durability and high physical attack. But apparently people think that they only have mental attacks and don't have any mental resistance. I just don't believe that. They definitely do. If you even look in one of the Daisenshu's, Toriyama literally explains that the way they get stronger is by training their body, the spirit, the mind, and ki composes of three things: courage, vigor, and mind. So mind is a very important part of the Dragon Ball characters' abilities. They use this to lift things up, they use this to communicate. Hell, Master Roshi was able to see through the mind of Nam in the first Budokai Tenkaichi tournament that we saw in the series. He was able to peer into his mind early on at that level. So these guys do have psychic abilities, and they should have psychic protection. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this means that anybody that has like psychic abilities, they can handle it. I'm just saying that they would have at least some form of resistance, and not just anybody who has psychic abilities can take them out. So I felt like I got quite a bit out of here. There's going to be quite a bit more videos like this where I'm going to just go in depth on some stuff that I felt like the Dragon Ball fans just don't understand or get wrong a lot, and I want to correct them. So I hope you enjoyed this video.